I'm Lars Bergstrom. I'm the Director of Engineering for our mixed reality program. So everything that we do at Mozilla related to AR or VR is on my team. We love, Oculus is one of the most successful players in the VR space. They've been working, since the Gear VR days. They really led a lot of the innovation. And so we bring our browser, the Firefox Reality browser, to the full set of Oculus platforms, especially the Go and the Quest. And one of the things we like to do is bring the pieces of the Firefox experience there. So being able to have multiple windows, multiple tabs, push really on the standardization effort to make sure that all of the features that need to be in the web platform are there, and being able to come here to Oculus Connect to meet up with all of the creators, all the people who are trying to bring content and try and see what are the gaps, what are the things we could be doing, how do you want users to experience virtual reality in the headset, and what can we do to make sure that it's as low friction as possible? Because one of the things we've found with VR is that every time there's a little bit of friction, it really just ends the experience and users bounce. And the web is one of the lowest friction ways to reach users. And so every time that we tell a creator, hey, you can just put a URL up on the web, people visit it in the browser and you're done. That's it, it loads, there's no install, no waiting for it all to come over. It's a nice seamless experience. And so it's great to come to this environment with such a great diverse crowd and really learn about all the new things that people are doing and see how it's evolved over the years. When everything first launched, all of these platforms were all about games. It was just, these were going to be gaming headsets, people were just going to play games, and we really launched the browser. There was a lot of skepticism that people would use the web for anything at all, and it's really turned out that people use VR headsets much like they use nearly every other computing device, which is they consume a ton of video. They just consume a ton of content that's being created on the web, whether that's from Instagram, from various bits of social media, or from all of the major video and streaming platforms. And so they've come to the browser, particularly in the early days when all of these streaming platforms hadn't made it onto VR headsets yet. They were very skeptical. They thought it was going to be gaming only and gamer focused. And so we've seen this explosion. And now, of course, when you look at the keynotes and you look at the things that they're emphasizing, it's the unified TV app bringing together all of the different streaming platforms. They've really seen that all of the content that people consume through the web is now, that's just a key part of how people are going to use VR headsets. And I love seeing it because it's validated that this one very powerful aspect of the web is really commonly used in VR headsets. And so it's letting people look at other things, like what else do people do on the web? Oh, they watch Twitch streams, they read Twitter, they do other things. How can we make that a part of the experience on these VR platforms? And that's been really great. Firefox is a part of, is one of the products in our suite, and we have a very strict privacy policy, so I can't tell you anything. We don't even collect or know anything about what specific domains users are visiting. We don't track any of that information, but we do know generally that when people are using the product. And so we found that, for example, in the US and Europe, people consume a lot of video content. And that's really been great to see and not a big surprise. But when we were looking at Japan, we found that people were customizing the browser to make it very tall and very narrow and consuming a lot of just red content. And so it's been really interesting to see in sort of different cultures how they're taking advantage of all of the screen real estate that's being provided by these VR headsets and using it for the kind of content that they like to consume. So one of the biggest thing we're hearing from users, again, it comes back to the friction element. How do I get that URL in? Because it's really hard to type in a VR headset. You don't want to type a URL, and we focused a lot on how do we get voice input in there, but really what people want to do is they're going throughout their day and they're on their mobile phone and they encounter a URL that they'd like to see later, some video or some topic that they'd like to see. So one of the things we're doing is we're going to hook it into our Firefox account system so that from any device you're on, you can just share a URL and it'll show up in your VR headset. We're going to launch that later this year. And so whether you're on a mobile phone or whether you're on the desktop, and particularly on mobile phones, you don't have to actually be using the browser. It'll just be part of the normal OS level sharing as long as you've hooked into it. So we're really focusing on reducing the friction for users because they want to consume this content, and everything that we can do to make it easier, whether it's that or whether it's opening multiple tabs, or we've pushed really a lot on making sure that we both localize all of the environment, but also bring native keyboard and input support to a ton of locales that aren't supported today in all of the other products or in the operating system. So bringing in Japanese keyboards, Korean keyboards, shipping throughout all the Scandinavian countries. Most of these headsets are really mostly US or China only. And so making sure that we just follow the normal Mozilla mission of trying to reach all of the possible consumers who are buying these headsets, because we see people buying them and using them, and we'd really like to make sure that they have an environment that's native to their language and that they can really feel at home. So and for more information, you can visit mixedreality.mozilla.org and download the Firefox Reality browser in the default store on any VR or AR headset.